Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to those of you being present here at the University of Valencia. Also, a very warm welcome to all of you following this online from all over the world. Okay, so I am Kristi Jauregi-Ondarra from Utrecht University. I am the project leader of this amazing eLife project. eLife means engaging languages in intercultural virtual exchange. And this is our first multiplier event or conference. So, and it is a pleasure to have this first conference here in Valencia. And this is my colleague, Begoña Clavel from Valencia University. Yeah, what have we done this morning?
Well, this morning we had a very exciting session where our attendees learned a little bit about why we should carry out a virtual exchange. And we had teachers from secondary education who had previous experience on telecollaboration telling us about that, and that was very nice. By the way, they used a Mentimeter to welcome some of your suggestions, comments, questions, and it worked very well in the morning. And they have opened it again, so if you go to menti.com, is it? But I can't remember the code though. It's there, right? Can you tell me? The code is there, so if you go to menti.com and access the code, you can, there it is, you can ask questions, write comments, whatever you want. People online have already been working on that in the morning.
Yeah, so it's the code's at the top.
The code is
over. Use it during the entire bit.
And then we'll collect all of those questions, plus the ones that people want to contribute with here, later at the end of the two sessions that we're going to have today. But going back to the morning session, we also had some intercultural experiences with Ukraine and Spain. And we also had a trainee teacher, well, a trainee student teacher, who presented also her experience and told us about several tasks that they employed in their course in Clermont. And I think they were very interesting and people were excited and engaged. So we hope the one in the afternoon is as good as the one in the morning, or even better, if possible. And what did you think about it, Kristi? Did you like the ones in the morning?
I enjoyed it. We focus especially on trainee teachers in the morning, okay? So we provided examples about how we had integrated virtual exchanges in our master's degree course, okay? And the other one was the work carried out with secondary school children. And this student, a master's student, used the data in order to write the master's thesis, which, and it was really, really very, very engaging. The teachers were very enthusiastic. It was really very nice to listen to the students who had participated in these virtual exchanges and to see how they enjoyed it and how much they learned it. So, and we'll continue this afternoon. I got a question, why are we starting at 5:30? And I said, well, we are starting at 5:30 because we are in Spain, and most teachers work until 5 o'clock. So we wanted to have plenty of those teachers present here, and we have many of them here, so a very warm welcome. We have been working with some of them virtually, coaching those virtual exchanges, and it is so nice to see them and to feel them and to hug them, and it is really a wonderful experience. So I'm very much looking forward also to the experiences those teachers are going to share with all of us, just in a minute. And we have adapted the program to this afternoon's program because one of our colleagues is not feeling okay. So we will be talking about the relevance of tasks for virtual exchanges in the webinars and workshops we will be organizing in the next months. And I will start talking about the nice activities that we are going to conduct shortly after this event, and the wonderful resources we have created until now for all of you. yeah, open educational resources on virtual exchange. So let's go.
So yeah, next to this, and after Kristi's talk, which was the one coming at the end, but we have just changed it to the beginning of the session in the evening, we will have special session on secondary education experiences, and then one on primary education experiences, and that's what will come next after Kristi's talk. So we're going to welcome Kristi with her part about the activities, resources, and tools, which is very interesting. Thank you, Kristi.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Okay, and this morning I was really very enthusiastic because there are many of us working on this wonderful eLife project, right? So we are a consortium of 3 teacher education institutions and 2 secondary schools within the consortium, and we have plenty of associated and collaborating institutions as well. So this is the work of a huge team, and very devoted and engaged team, actually. Okay, so the activities we will be organizing after this multiplier event are the how to online workshops, yeah? And as I said, we will start in November, December, and we will share the information with all of you and also via our social media platforms. So we will organize a session on how to set up a virtual exchange project, and that will be ideal to all those teachers who want to start engaging their students in virtual exchanges. So this is a very special one for you. Yeah, how to create engaging tasks, and that was one of the questions this morning. Yeah, how do you know that learners enjoy the tasks? Yeah, because you can create a task, but is it enjoyable for the learners? Yeah, to all the learners? Now we will be addressing these kinds of questions. How to enhance communication processes in virtual exchange tasks? Because what we have observed in some of the virtual exchanges is that, sometimes they ask question, short answer. Next question, short answer. Next question, short answer. Is this communication? If there is no reaction back, if there is no sharing, you know about, okay, that's interesting, because in my case, okay, so we will be talking about this very relevant, because we are saying that we are doing virtual exchanges because we know our students use the language meaningfully in communication, and what is meaningful communication? Yeah, so we will be thinking of these very relevant questions. Yeah, how to include societal topics in virtual exchange tasks. Things related, and this morning it was really very nice in one of the presentations. Students from Spain were interacting with students in Ukraine, in a very special moment for them. How do you include societal issues? Climate issues, diversity issues. Look at our society. Do we accept diversity? Is it important for us as a society to accept that kind of diversity? So I think that there is a lot of work to do in these kinds of tasks. And that was also a question about this, how to integrate Frame VR in virtual exchange projects, and what kind of activities or tasks can you give to your students to participate in such a virtual world? So these are some of the questions you would like to address in this new series of online workshops, how to. And if you have any topics, any issues that you say, that would be interesting for me, do please share this with us, okay? We will have a look at them. Yes? Okay, this is about the next activities. And what I wanted to share now with you is the open educational resources we have been developing in these 1.5 years. And I think that we are really very quite proud of them, and they are open for any of you to use them. And you can access them via our website. So you can use your mobile phone to go to the website, but I am going to show you around. So this is our website, as you can see here. So the homepage, where we post the latest news. You can see all the Twitter. Oh, that's really nice. The Twitter, all the tweets that we are sending from eLife or about eLife. Under the project, you get more information about who are the project partners, associated partners. So if you want to become an associated partner within the project, do let us know, and then we will include it in here. Project summary, what are our objectives, what are the activities we want to develop in these projects, the tools we have available for our students, okay? Join us, and this is a very important one, because if you really think that it is really this, what you are listening to, what you are hearing, that it is really very relevant for you, for your students, your trainee teachers, your students at secondary schools, at primary schools, here is the way to contact us and to become a member. Yeah, so become a partner institution, and you can click there. You will get a form that you will fill in, and we will get in contact with you. If you know already that you would like to engage your students in virtual exchanges, there is another link to the class matching form. Yeah, but then we will ask you all the information about the language you're using in your courses, the pupils, the age, the timetable, in order to see whether there is a match in ages, in language, and in times. Yeah, if you want to engage your students in synchronous activities during class time. Yeah, okay. And if you just want to get informed about interesting activities that we are organizing, then there is the third link. Then we have the news tab, and this is the important one. This is the resources page. So as you can see, we have been working on different issues. The one is related to the teacher education modules. So we have developed teacher education modules for trainee teachers, but this can also be interesting for teachers as well. Yeah. So it is in English. I'm going to click in them. And we have focused on 4 special topics. This is a digital material and interactive material. At the same time, we have quizzes, as Bego was explaining this morning, quizzes, and you can answer open questions, reflections on the topics you are reading about or you are listening to in a Padlet, and this can be shared with other institutions who are working with these same materials. So the main topics we are addressing are the digital pedagogies, what kind of technology we have, how can we integrate that in our lessons, intercultural competencies and European citizenship. This morning we have been talking a lot about what is intercultural communication and how important it is to address this in our courses, virtual exchange tasks, and engagement and motivation. And I will show you how it looks like. So if you click here, then a new page will open. Aceptar todos los cookies. Okay. Yeah, and here within intercultural communication and European citizenship, and we have a general introduction, then the intercultural turn in language education, and virtual exchange to enhance intercultural citizenship for an inclusive world. Then here, if you click here, we ask you if you are using these materials with your students, and then I am thinking teacher trainers with their students, trainee teachers. Okay, you can send us your feedback. If you click here, then a form will open. Okay. And here there are readings. If you want to get more information about the given topic we have addressed, and the resources we provide here, information about the resources we have used to create this material. But let's go to topic 1 so that you can see how it works. Yeah, so here is an introduction video, and then we start with the first slide. Okay. It is about the intercultural training language education, and we start with some reflection questions. What's intercultural communicative competence for you, and how important is it to you as a person, as a language learner or language teacher? And this is linked to a Padlet. Yeah, to a Padlet that you can use with your students if you want to. Yeah, and they will be answering here, and these answers will be shared with other institutions, with other students working on these topics in other institutions. So we wanted to create these training materials thinking of engaging students, to use a interesting platform, which is, in this case, is the Geniali, using text, using video, and introducing interactivity, such as quizzes or the Padlet. Yeah? So this is what you can find about the teacher training modules, teacher education modules, and this is open to anybody who wants to use them. Let me see whether I can go back to the website. Yes. So this is the teacher education modules. Then, setting up virtual exchanges. Some of you might remember that we organize workshops with teachers at secondary schools and primary schools who have already experienced virtual exchanges. So we have used this material to create interactive materials, yeah? And everything related to the question and to the topic, setting up virtual exchanges. So if you click on here, and then here to navigate, so you can see that with the 3 teachers who participated in those workshops. So we presented the teachers, the objectives and pedagogical plans they had, because that's where you start, of course, planning a virtual exchange. This is, here you have the video where you can listen to what the teachers say, yeah? Because one of the very initial and important parts when you have a partner with whom you are going to organize all those virtual exchanges is negotiating objectives, because the objectives are very clear for you, but what about your partner's objectives? Yeah, so you need to sit down and to think about it and to try to reach some kind of shared outcome. Yeah, so you can listen to what those teachers say, and then what we always try to do is emphasize your reflection. How would you do that? What would it be meaningful for you? Yeah, and here in this case it is a quiz. Yeah, we ask you questions related to the video you have been listening. So Bart met his virtual exchange partner, Bart, via e-twinning. Is this correct or not? Yeah, because Bart is here. Bart is here, and you have heard that he found, because that's one of the challenges with the teacher who wants to participate with eLive. We help you out finding your partner, but sometimes it is difficult. So in this case, Bart is German teacher, and I said this morning that it is difficult to find German teachers abroad. So that's via e-twinning that you found him, her, in this case. Next question was, one of the significant challenges they encountered was pairing up classes with similar proficiency levels. Is this true or is it false? Do you remember?
I do remember. I'm not sure if I said it was a significant challenge. It was challenging.
So,
I think this one is true, yeah.
Is it true? Oh, that was the easy part.
It was more difficult with the timetables.
Yeah.
That was more challenging.
Yeah. Or agreeing on the content turned out to be very challenging, the content. Oh, it is a long time ago. Yeah, so you need to listen to the video. But you see, we have the teachers, and they talk about how they started, how they negotiated objectives, how they designed the whole project. And that I think that can be very illuminating for those teachers willing to start a virtual exchange project for the first time. Okay, the next one, and that was one of the questions also this morning. Okay, this task, oh yeah, they are relevant, they are interesting, but where can I find them? And we are working on them, but we have many interaction tasks from the TILA project for different languages, for English, for French, for German, for Spanish, and the same within the TECOLA project. And we are working very hard, you can see them here, to upload the different tasks that the teachers in the virtual exchanges have been using in the spring period, okay? And they will appear here under the eLife project. Some are already here, but there will be many of them, yeah? Okay. More resources. So we will scroll down. Voices. Yeah, we have seen this morning how nice it is when we are talking about virtual exchanges to see the faces of the teachers participating in the virtual exchanges, to see it and listen to the students who have participated in the virtual exchanges, how important it is. We can write papers, we can write all kinds of stuff, but if we need to see those children, we need to see those teachers and listen to them, and that's the role of this section. Yeah, this morning we have an example on that. Yeah, where we had the trainee teachers and some teachers talking about why is a virtual exchange important in education, and many more will follow. What more, all the workshops and webinars we have conducted are recorded and they are here. So, yeah, if there is a topic that interests you, then you can click on here. They are all in YouTube. And if we scroll down, there are many teachers very willing to work with virtual worlds. And the VR environment we are using for secondary schools and primary schools is Frame VR. As we said this morning, we have created, Nick has created 4 different islands: Plauderstein for German, Chatterdale for English, and Parole for France, and Villa Charla for Spanish. So if you click here, you will be teleported to Chatterdale. And here it is important to see, oh, there I am. So if I say connect.
Welcome to Chatterdale. This is an English virtual language village built for the eLife project. Feel free to look around in the buildings. Maybe you will find someone to talk to. And remember, education has never been so much fun.
And you get all kinds of information about how it works when you enter, as you can see. Only once, indeed. Yeah. So, and you can experiment in them. As I told at the beginning, that we will be having a how-to workshop. So there is more to come. Okay, and let's go back and back. So as you can see, these resources, these are all open to any teacher willing to use them. So I think that it is important to share this with all of you. And then one of the questions we had also in the morning was, yeah, if I want to join, how can I join it? So you can join us using this QR code or via the website. Okay. And how do we continue the process? Once you join the eLife project, then we will contact you. We will organize focus group sessions to hear what your needs are and get in contact with other teachers. We'll ask you to fill in the class matching form and try to find you a partner. And we'll then combine training and coaching activities for virtual exchange. Yeah, that's the way we usually organize the new virtual exchange partnerships. So, and that is a little bit what I wanted to share about the activities we are organizing and we will be organizing in November, December. And the resources which are already available, the very rich resources we have on the website. Yeah, for you as teachers or for teacher trainers to use with their trainee teachers. Yeah. So I don't know whether there are any questions, any comments, any observations at this time. Yeah, we are all over the social media. Indeed, you can follow us following the website, but also in YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and TikTok. I miss Mastodon. We have it, right? What is Barry? I think we have. LinkedIn as well. Thank you, Annika. Okay, so we are all over the place. Yes, yes. So then we will continue with the afternoon sessions. Yeah, and we will focus now on the virtual exchange projects at Secondarv schools. We have 3 very special presentations. Yeah, the first one, and I love the title. I want a swimming pool at my school too, and I hope that the teachers will explain us what this means. Challenges and opportunities of virtual exchange in English as a lingua franca at secondary schools. And we have here Annika Werkman from Keizer Karel College in the Netherlands, and María Clavel from Guadalaviar here in Valencia. Then the next presentation would be promoting language creation through a telecollaboration task-based project, a case study. And Alfredo Ibáñez from, I see you at the back, yes, from San Enrique School is present here. Very much looking forward to listen also to this virtual exchange. And the third one is that will be in Spanish. That's something that we really want to enhance the plurilingualism. Yeah, utilizing Spanish, English, French, German. So this one will be in Spanish. And I also love the title, voy a conocerte. Tengo butterflies in my stomach. Virtual exchange cooperation beyond boundaries in secondary education. And then we have Lore García Benito from Antoniano in the Basque Country. And Mayte Ibáñez, Linge, also in the Netherlands. So this will be the 3 presentations we'll have on secondary education. Okay. So.
Welcome to our presentation. And We are Maria Clavel and Annika Werkman, and we're both English as foreign language teachers. And we would like to share our experiences with virtual exchanges and talk a bit more about the challenges and opportunities of that. But first, about the main title, I went to swimming pool at my school too. That was what I heard from my students when they were they had met your students, and we wanted to share a bit of the surprise with you via a small video.
Yeah.
Okay, look the swimming pool. Do you see?
They said in your school.
We have a swimming pool in a school, and they were showing it like very proudly, and you know that's the reason why we chose. Well, Annika chose that title. We thought it was really.
My students were completely surprised. They never expected that, and they want to visit Spain as well. Of course.
They're always welcome.
But for now, it's all a virtual exchange. We work together. I teach at Keizer College in Amstelveen, very close to Amsterdam. It's a boys and girls school, and we offer project education for those students interested, and we are a UNESCO school, so we try to do our bit, you know, helping with the SDGs. And my students are 30 to 15 years old, with an A2 to B1+ level of English, many of them with an expert family background, and they were really enthusiastic participating.
And we have exactly the opposite, which is a school in Valencia, like 5 minutes away from here, literally. And it's a charter school. It means that it's, you know, public funded, but also like a private part. We know it's concertada in Spanish. And it's a girls' school, which was quite worrying for us at the beginning, because we thought about, you know, boys, girls, but, you know, it was amazing. It worked perfectly, so no worries. And our school has a big focus on languages, especially English, but we also have German and French, and obviously Valenciano, which is our, like, you know, regional language. And ICT, so it was perfect because, you know, we work with iPads, and it's all ICT, you know, it was great. And there, our group was third year, it was third FSO. They were 14 and 15-year-olds. And the challenging part for us was that we had 60 students, and from Annika's side, it was 30. So we had to pair them up correctly, or it could be a mess. But I think we did a good job.
It worked out well. Yeah, it did.
So I'm going to go through this like quite quickly, because it's quite obvious. Like, the objectives of this project is for them to communicate. That's it. And yesterday, they were recorded in the school, and they were saying, in the classroom, we don't like to talk to you because you're an adult, and we don't have anything to share with you. It's just grammar and vocal. I felt like very disappointed, by the way, but it's okay. I'm used to it. And they said, and we had the opportunity to talk to teenagers like us and share the same interests, like TikTok. I mean, I know what TikTok is, but they know better than me, and they love to talk about those things. So the language objectives are quite clear. Talk, communicate, share experiences, and obviously, that's what they mention as well, like, you know, culture. They love to know about, you know, other people's culture. And we are quite lucky in my school because they can afford to go abroad, but, you know, not everyone can. So I guess it's a really good opportunity for all of us teachers to give them the opportunity to meet other people from other countries, you know, and as Kristi said before, just take the chance to give them like the opportunity to know other people, diversity, and if we know each other better, like not these things that are happening at the moment would happen. So I think it's really good, and it's a cultural, obviously, you know, everything is about communication and culture, and Annika, that's you.
I would take over here. So about the pedagogical design, it was all about task-based learning. So we designed 3 tasks with a pre-task, a task, main task, and a post-task, and they got more complex along the way. And it was all about the communicative approach, as you just told us. I mean, we can do reading and listening in class as well, but this was the most perfect opportunity for our students to become active language users, and that was our shared goal. So we had to prepare them for this, of course. We had to guide them through the digital aspects and help them using the BBB rooms, for example, and also being aware of sharing information online. We had to talk with them about the intercultural aspects and help them to be open-minded and understanding to things that were new to them. And finally, about also the communicative aspect, because all of them are not proficient learners. They're still along the way, and they still have to deal with the fact that they sometimes don't understand or don't manage to get their message across, and how to go about it. So the groups were paired up, mostly 1 Dutch students with 2 or 3 Spanish students, because they were with more. They met about once a month, and so we as teachers worked very closely together, and we still are, and we were all guided through the process by Kristi, which was very, very helpful. So we met for each task, and we evaluated each task, and this year we're trying to do better and improve along the way.
We're learning.
Yeah.
So let's go to the point, which is the tasks, and is what they really enjoy doing. So the first task that Annika mostly designed was called Getting to Know Each Other. So the goal was for them to introduce themselves to the partner, like in our case, the Dutch partner. And we used a PowerPoint because there were so many things to tell them that we created the PowerPoint as a reminder of us to what to tell them. And then, if they, like visual learners, they saw what they had to do, like how do you get to Moodle? I will show it to you later and you will see it. And it gave us peace of mind because there were so many things that we had to do. And then we used Padlet as well, so they could write and introduce themselves by writing. So we were using speaking and writing, you know. We obviously assessed the writing and we gave them a grade, which is very important for them. And then we used BBB when they had the actual exchange. For us, because it was the first task, the challenges were how to pair them up, and if the pairing up was good or not, and we did it on levels. So because we thought, you know, if you pair up B1 student with an A2, they're going to feel like I'm not going to say anything because, you know, my English is not that good. I think it worked perfectly. And the internet connection, that was the main issue sometimes. Like in my school, everything was ready. And then Wi-Fi just went down. And I was like, I can't believe it. So I had to, like, you know, send an email to Annika and to Kristi, we can't do it today. But, you know, this happens and you need to be prepared for that. And, you know, technology is amazing, but sometimes it fails. So just, you know, go with plan B and that's it. So this is the PowerPoint that we created, and we showed the students and we uploaded on Classroom, so they had everything there. And for us, it was a reminder of everything we had to say, like, change your password, because they have to change it the first time they go on Moodle. And this is the BB room, and these are the groups. Go in your BB room. So, you know, everything was there, and it was for us quite easy not to forget anything important. The headphones, that's really important. Because, you know, background noise can be annoying sometimes, but, you know, so everything was there. The form, if you don't bring the form, you won't participate. I was like, but it's there. So, you know, and obviously, remind them that what they're doing is meaningful and it has, you know, a purpose. So yeah, smile, be nice. And they were nice to each other, and that was really good because it's communicating with someone from another country, another culture, and it was really good. This is when they had to introduce themselves. They didn't know the pairing, that they had the partner, so they were introducing themselves, and then they had to interact and say, oh, you're going to be my partner. And, you know, like very creative stuff. And they were, if you ask them to do some writing, it's like, ugh. But then because they had to do this, they were like very motivated, and it was completely different. Like the outcome was really good. And this is something that we like to show you to see like how they were exchanging and talking about negotiation of meaning. Like, okay, we're saying this, you don't understand, but it's a really nice video. Let's see what you think.
Tim, can you talk us a little bit of your idiom?
¿My what? Sí, pero que habla él.
Can you talk us a little bit of your idiom?
I don't understand the last word. What is your idiom? Wait.
Yes.
Can you talk us in your idiom?
What's idiom?
Your language. Your language.
Oh, language. What do you want me to say?
So they were like, you know, because they got really excited. They don't look like that, but they were excited. So they were thinking in Spanish, and they were like, idiom. And they were like saying, no, it's not idiom, it's language. So that's really good, because it's like, you know, you have to improvise, you have to communicate. And even if it's not right, they didn't care. It was like, okay, I really want to know what that sounds like. That's what they wanted. But yeah, it was very nice. And task 2 is Annika.
Yeah, so after they got to know each other a bit better, we wanted them to get to know each other's schools. So first of all, we asked them to make a presentation as a pre-task about their schools, and the real task that was then to present their PowerPoints to each other via B2B video calling. This, of course, was a bit of a challenge because they had to get used to the technology, but all in all, it was very interesting because they filled in a form. And in this form, next slide, they came up with lots of similarities and differences. And we also asked them to think about preferences to prime them a bit for the third task. And the post-task was to write about their conclusions. So one of the examples, the second from right, is the similarities that we noticed about our school are that we both start at 8:30 and that both our schools have been renovated. The differences are that you guys have a pool at your school, that your school building is bigger, and that your school is all girls, and then, you know, we don't have a pool, and boys and girls, and so on. So, when we, these responses on the Padlet really help us also to see what they take away from these video call moments, and they were really rich, and they really helped our students to engage and participate actively. So the third task was about designing the most perfect and ideal school. So they could use the preferences they came up with during the second task, but they could also come up with new ideas. And it was a very creative task. Students liked doing this. So they talked about their ideal school together at the BBB rooms again. But after that, they had to make a presentation and present it to their own class. So they had to tell about the conversation they had with the other students that they were paired up with, and presented it to their own students, and they of course had to listen and give some feedback and so on. So we have this lovely example that we would like to share with you.
Hi, we are Sol and Carla, and we are going to talk about how would be our ideal school.
At first, we're going to say our ideas that we have in common with our partner Jessie, that are a structured timetable,
That each class would last 30 minutes.
and that you can practice any sports that you like, as hockey, golf, basket.
Now we are going to talk about some different ideas that Sol and I have thought.
Our ideas are no classes in the afternoons, 1 hour of break, a canteen, not so many exams, and more projects to learn easily. Also, we would like to wear polo instead of a shirt.
Those are Jesse's ideas.
So yes, it's my student.
His ideal school would start at 10 a.m. and would finish at 3 p.m. There would be games instead of homework, free food at the canteen, and if you have done the homework, you can skip the lesson. That's the end.
Thanks for your attention.
Yeah, it was really good. They were like very creative. Like they were like some of my students designed the logo, the story of the founder of the school, and even like the anthem of the school. I was like, what? I mean, if you ask them to do that, they would say, but because it was like, you know, joined ideas and stuff like that, it worked really well. Do's and don'ts. So this is because we thought that if you are starting the project, we're not experts at all, but you know, this is what worked for us and what didn't. So you have to work with students in the classroom before the actual virtual exchange. They have to know how to log in, how to get there. You can't do it the moment that they are doing it, because then the virtual exchange will disappear. You have to be prepared for an eventuality, like no Wi-Fi, that's it. So, okay, you can postpone it, or I don't know, do something else. You have to be prepared for that. And then meeting regularly with a coach and with your partner. And we were very lucky because, you know, we worked together really well with the other teachers as well. And you have to be careful because not everyone is used to use the internet and, you know, like login and stuff like that. So teach them how to do it. Don't expect that because they're young, they're teenagers, they will know how to do everything, because some of them don't. And especially with us girls, some of them, like, they don't really like technology. The don'ts, don't expect your students to know how to, you know, like they can't talk, and that's it. No, you have to prepare them, like with the tasks, the pre-tasks, and, you know, everything has to be said before, because if no, they will be like Kristi said before, like, how are you? Okay. Do you like English? Yes. And have you been to? Yeah, no. So they need to have something to talk, and that has to be prepared before. And don't forget that your students that they have to do, like, bring your headphones. It's not just once. You have to say it many, many times, because they tend to forget things.
Remind your password. But even
Exactly. Like, write it down. Have it ready, because they forget. I mean, they're teenagers. They tend to forget about these things. And then that you have to, don't forget that, to communicate openly about your expectations and difficulties. Like, we want you to do this, but if you can't talk or you can't understand your partner, like the idiom thing, it's okay, you know. They are not like bilingual students. They are like people like you learning English. So I think, yeah, this is do's and don'ts, and we hope that we have helped you for your future projects, and thank you very much for listening to us.
Good afternoon. Okay, I can see my colleague Mayte over there, right? Oh, thank you very much for having me here. I'm Alfredo Ibáñez, Chilabert, and I have been collaborating with these guys here since Tecola, yeah? And that gave me a perspective of eLive not only as a language tool, but also as added value with pedagogical changes for my school. So that's the reason why last year, at the beginning of the course, Begoña and Barry told me that there was going to be a new edition of eLive this time. And I started preparing my students from the very beginning, since September, because I didn't want them just to go there and do what these girls were saying, what do you have to tell me, right? I wanted them to work on some contents and made the most of it, not only to have the opportunity of have a spontaneous conversation, but also prepare parallel curricula, if that was possible. So I am going to try to explain why I think eLive is a perfect tool to achieve this objective, the objective from moving from talking to language creation, right? So moving from here to here. This is what we all want, yeah? And these are some of the features, I think, that are very important from eLive. That one of them is that it creates a safe environment. You have the possibility of having synchronous and asynchronous communication, working with visual support. That sets the students in a mood that is not aggressive for them, and they feel that they are willing to communicate. For the teachers, it allows planning and scaffolding the information, as we will see in the following example I will show you. Also interesting is multimodal communication. I think this is something that it's an added value too, because students are communicating not only orally, but also making use of other resources synchronously, as they can, for example, search or Google ideas. At the same time, they are searching for words, dictionary. There is a kind of multimodal or random way of working, which is very holistic for students. Also, as was mentioned before, intercultural topics are key for these projects, and they end up creating communities of practice, so that the students belong to a group and create new links. Something that new experts call like extimacy, the difference between us and them, and then we come all we, yeah? And as I said before, my aspiration is to be able to create a joint curriculum in the future with some schools. So, I think eLive is ideal for task-based projects, as the one I started last year with my students, because it allows you, as I said, synchronous and asynchronous communication, also plan ahead, and you can set long-term goals, which is something more than the mere fact of having a spontaneous conversation. This is what I think. And you can also track the students' progress throughout a year. So here in my slide, you can see the 3 types of interactions the students can have in eLive. All of them are equally valid, yeah, and you can use them at the same time. But I will go for the second 2, clear task-based projects. And my aspiration is in the future be able to join a curriculum or part of the curriculum with another school. And I think we are up to it. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit what was my last year like, because as I said, I started preparing my students in October, but we didn't actually start with eLive until the end of April. So then I thought, well, so BB and VR are not the only resources in Tekola. Let's work with Padlet. And I developed a project called 100 Everyday Chores to Stop Global Warming. And I set my students in the mood that they will present the project to the Dutch students in the future, as we did, yeah? That gave me a way out to be working on eLive when eLive was not still open, yeah? But I was working on it, yeah? So at the end of April, beginning of May, we had 2 different types of interactions or associations, one with Quart, which is my school, and the Linge, Mayte School in the Netherlands, and another with Yana, with Quart, and a miscellaneous group of students from Ukraine, which I think you explained and talked about it this morning, right? The experience I'm going to talk about is the one I had with Quart and the Linge, because it is the one that is connected with my task-based project. How did we structure the activities to start a project in eLive? So I started with a school project integrated in the curriculum. It is the one I told you, 100 Everyday Chores to Stop Global Warming, and we worked that through CLIL, yeah? That means that not only me, but the rest of the teachers at my school were also involved in the project. We were working science in English, history in English, ethics in English, of course, other languages like Valencia in English. We were working English as a vehicular language. What we did is we worked on these topics, we created surveys, and we uploaded all the material on Padlet. So that when I started with Mayte, of course, Mayte had her own ideas, and I said, don't worry, we can do both things, your ideas and my ideas, because eLife allows to do that, and we managed to do it. So Mayte proposed to me, she had other ideas because she had a group of students who were studying Spanish. So we did a tandem group and a lingua franca group. And it worked very well because normally in Spain, the students who don't speak English very well are the ones who do the telecollaboration in Spanish, and this empowers the weaker students, right? And to me, it was like opening a window into education for those students. So I want to highlight the fact that this is not only a language tool, it is much more than that. It is also a strong pedagogical tool. Okay, so following with the structure, we uploaded the content on Padlet. Then the Dutch students could access the content and knew what the content was about, so that when we started the presentation, there was like a sort of interview, which was a very safe environment for my students who were a lower level than my students, because my students were 15 years old, yours were 17. Mine were A2 plus, yours were B1 plus. So I made the most of these interviews so that there was like a sort of a framework. And eventually, students will enter into other sections of communication, as we will see later, which is what I say here is language creation. How did we do that? Well, I'm going to talk about an exchange we have that I have divided in 6 sections, right? Because the students are starting talking, as they were saying before, like robots, yeah? Just reading out their PowerPoints without any soul, not knowing what to do. And Begoña and I, we were in the background, and I remember that once the presentation finished, Begoña gave a sort of input scaffolding, saying something like, I'm going to try to see if this can open. No, it can't. So Begoña said something like, after my students talk about their 100 measures to stop global warming, they were quiet, not knowing what to do. And Begoña said something like, well, maybe the Dutch students would like to talk about the measures they have to save the planet in their country, because do you return your bottles after you drink? And that was a turning point in the conversation, right? Since that moment, the Dutch students started giving evidence, which is what I name here as expansion. They expanded their conversation, made it easy for the Spanish students, and prompted them asking, do you guys separate your trash? From that very moment, my Spanish students had to forget about their notes and start creating language. And this is what they did, using in the process things like translanguaging, which is trying to look for ways to make communication going on, negotiation of meaning. And they found their own ways. The Dutch students became like a sort of guide, and by the end of the exchange, the number of interactions between the Spanish students and the Dutch students had equaled. Yeah? So they were the same. And I think this is all thanks to the fact that you cannot expect your students talking all of a sudden if you don't structure the activities. and if you don't give them some input. To this respect, I find Padlet a very interesting tool because it allows the students to plan what they are going to say and not go blank at the beginning of a conversation. Afterwards, with the help of teachers that can introduce what I write here, hot input, is high order thinking skill. Tell me about your life. Tell me what this is relevant to you. They start using the language as a vehicular tool and not as a way of parroting. Yeah? Eventually, teachers can remove input and let the students go free. And you can see here in section C how they started creating their own topics, like, can you use mobile phones at your school? At this stage, we let the students talk for 10 minutes, and they kept on talking, finding their own ways. So if you want your students to use the language creatively, we must provide them a framework in the first place, synchronous and asynchronous exchange, and input scaffolding that can be removed afterwards. Yeah. Before the conclusions, I want to show you some data I have stored here about what were the interactions like. I am working on a tool to, I don't know if you can see this. This is a tool to track students or users' interaction when they are working online. And it tracks the complexity of utterances, the language functions, the learner fit, meaning whether the activities are cognitively demanding or undemanding for the students, if they are able to do them. Negotiation of meaning, language skills use, cognitive skills, and competencies. In this particular exchange we had, you can see the 6 cuts, and you can see the increase in the complexity of utterances, the functions, negotiation of meaning, as you left the students talk by themselves. Yeah? Once you removed the input scaffolding, the quality of their interactions were closer to creation than to parroting. You can see this better in this other graph I have here. Here you can see the 6 sections, and there's a lot of acronyms here that stands for authentic communication, high order thinking skill, cultural openness, communities of practice, and so forth. So what I wanted to show you here is how the quality of what the students were saying on the eLife platform increased in terms of high order thinking skills once teachers provided the correct scaffolding. Yeah? So if you want your students to be successful, I recommend you to create a framework they can use and have the students in the backstage providing this kind of input, because we are the only ones who can guide them into language creation. Otherwise, we run the risk of having a wonderful platform that is only used to say, hello, how are you? How do you say that in English, right? So we can do much more with eLife. We can create projects, and we can aim at creating joint curricula as well. So, conclusions. in my experience, Eli fosters students' language acquisition. It promotes shared curricula. It triggers high-order thinking skills, and it creates communities of practice that can last for a lifetime. And I don't know how I am doing with time, but 3 minutes. Okay, so this is enough for me. If you want to ask any questions or... Okay, they told me not to do it very long, so I think I did it right? Okay, so thank you very much, and thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Goedemiddag. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. As you can see, and as Kristi said, our presentation is going to be in Spanish, but we will make a short introduction in English also. So we first want to say thank you very much for having us. We also want to say that all the day and all these presentations were very inspiring, super inspiring, and that we are not going to talk about tasks. We're going to talk about impressions, sensations, motivation, and we will describe our journey through this wonderful world of eLife. So, here we go. Érase una vez dos profesoras aquí presentes que venían de países muy distintos, muy lejanos entre sí, y que se encontraron con una larva. Una larva, diréis, sí, era una larva recién nacida en forma de proyecto eLife. Y entonces esas dos profesoras querían aportar su granito de arena al mundo de la educación y dijeron, ¿cómo lo vamos a hacer?
¿Y por qué este mundo? Pues porque las dos coincidíamos con que la educación representaba el símbolo de transformación constante y era el mejor lugar donde su larva podía llevar a cabo el proceso de metamorfosis.
Alguien, aquí presente, les propuso un reto y se encontraron en un cruce de caminos. Podían elegir la pastilla roja o la azul de Matrix, el camino de la izquierda o el camino de la derecha. El camino de la izquierda era un camino de confort, estaban cómodas allí, tenían un mogollón de papeleo que hacer en el cole, como todos sabéis, y dijeron, uff, nos quedamos aquí. Pero luego estaba también el camino de la derecha, the unknown, the unexpected. ¿Nos lanzamos al vacío con paracaídas, con Kristi echándonos una mano, o seguimos aquí? Bueno, está claro cuál elegimos, ¿verdad? Estamos aquí, elegimos el número 2.
Y después de mucha dedicación, pero también muchas dudas, arrancó el proceso. Sin una buena coordinación y comunicación, esta evolución no habría sido exitosa, pero esta larva necesitaba unas condiciones óptimas. Y hablábamos de ideas, tareas, sensibilización, planificación, horarios, ajustes, autorización de papás y mamás y condiciones técnicas adecuadas. Y
muchas ganas.
Muchas
ganas. Era
muchas
fundamental
ganas.
tener
Sí,
muchas ganas.
Muchas ganas.
Para que la larva se convirtiera en oruga, nótese que nos hemos documentado sobre el tema fenomenal. Nótese. Necesitaban poner en marcha un ejército de alumnos y fuimos donde los alumnos y les dijimos, hola, tenemos esta larva, este proyectito. ¿Y cuáles fueron sus reacciones? Pues estas.
¿Y si no me entienden?
¿Y si no me entienden?
Ay, yo no puedo.
Ay, yo no puedo.
Ay, qué nervios.
Ay, qué nervios. Pero...
¡Qué guay!
¡Qué guay! También, ¿no? Estos estudiantes se tenían que poner de acuerdo y tenían que emprender un viaje para comunicarse con otros estudiantes de otras realidades distintas virtualmente y lo tenían que hacer encima en 2 idiomas, en castellano y en inglés.
Las orugas se adaptaron a 2 hábitats muy diferentes y allí se convirtieron en crisálidas. Palabra que también hemos aprendido.
Hombre, hemos aprendido muchísimo.
Eran 2 entornos fáciles, atractivos y cómodos, donde enseguida se sintieron acogidos. Y ya no había nervios.
¡Ay! ¡Ya no hay nervios!
Hábitat número 1, Chatodale. Lo habéis mostrado esta mañana también. Prepararon sus avatars, diseñaron sus avatars y se metieron en las aulas de audio. Estas son algunas imágenes. Por desgracia no pudimos recuperar las grabaciones, pero se oían cosas como...
¡Ay, qué risa!
¡Ay, qué risa!
¡Qué nervios en el estómago!
¡Qué nervios en el estómago! No sé si lo oís. ¿Lo oís? ¿Sí?
¿Me escuchas? Ah, sí, ya le veo. Es un chico.
Y en privado continuaron en sus salas de audios. Como este environment era, bueno, muy sencillo porque no tenían que poner la cámara, se encontraron muy cómodos. Dijeron, bueno, es estupendo para empezar. Pero a la vez, como Bart comentaba esta mañana, les surgió una curiosidad por conocer a sus compañeros de una manera más presencial, ¿no? ¿Quiénes son estos que están detrás de la pantalla, ¿no? Estos avatars. Y, bueno, pues decidieron adentrarse en un hábitat más arriesgado, más expuesto.
Sí, y así hicimos uso también de BBB. Allí el encuentro fue más personal, por supuesto. Esta es una foto de mis alumnas en Linge durante todo un recreo. No conseguí despegarlas de los alumnos de Lore porque, bueno, empezaron con la charla y no podían parar. Demasiada curiosidad. Y así, las crisálidas intentaron adaptarse y sobrevivir a este nuevo hábitat. Tuvieron un encuentro en parejas muy chulo y en la plataforma de BBB incluso llegaron a sentirse cómodos. Oíamos risas, oíamos bromas, oíamos todo lo que no formaba parte de nuestra tarea. O sea, rompieron nuestras estructuras y la tarea. Se dieron cuenta de que podían comunicarse bastante bien y de cuántas cosas tenían en común sus culturas. Ya no les daba pudor, esas arriesgadas crisálidas pasaron a ser simples mariposas en el estómago.
¡Vaya sensación!
Pero por supuesto, claro, como en todas partes, ¿no? Todo este viaje tiene impedimentos y los impedimentos son pues muchísimos, sobre todo energía y tiempo. Tiempo y energía, que es lo que nos falta a los profesores muchas veces. Nos apoyábamos tanto personalmente como profesionalmente, como en la parte emocional, que muchas veces es fundamental, ¿no? Hoy en día. Y bueno, y continuamos con el viaje. Teníamos además que seguir explicando a nuestros alumnos que era importante seguir en el proyecto, cuáles eran los objetivos, como comentabais los compañeros, ¿no? ¿Qué tipo de conducta tenían que tener en estas situaciones? Y tuvimos también obstáculos del siglo XXI, como el famoso firewall, ¿no? Que es tan útil en clase, tan útil en las escuelas para intentar bueno, preservar el dominio escolar, pero tan complicado de saltar, ¿no? Pero bueno, eso también lo resolvimos.
También eso lo resolvimos. Y bueno, ya pensaréis, ¿y estas dos con las mariposas? Estamos hablando de sensaciones y estamos hablando de cambio, proceso, metamorfosis. Las mariposas empezaron a volar.
Y nosotros a saltar, como veis ahí.
Y nosotros a saltar. En muchas culturas, escuchad esto bien, la mariposa es un símbolo de transformación. La larva, aquella pequeñita larva, llega a ser una hermosa mariposa solo cuando durante su viaje conoce sus motivaciones, como nosotras y nuestros alumnos. Se reconoce en todo su potencial, que puedo llegar a ser, que puedo llegar a conseguir. Se enfrenta a sus miedos, porque lo hicieron nuestros alumnos.
Y nosotras también.
Se atreve a experimentar. Confía en el camino del aprendizaje y lucha contra los prejuicios, que es algo que queremos desenmascarar con este proyecto. Y al final se echa a volar. Y bueno, estas citas que nos hemos traído son ejemplos de testimonios de nuestros alumnos. Os leo. Tanto la experiencia en inglés como la de español fueron bien. El inglés iba más fácil. Eran alumnos con un nivel B1, B2. En español tuvimos que hacer un gran esfuerzo, pero pensamos que aprendimos mucho así. Yo soy profesora de español, mis alumnos llevaban aquí aproximadamente 5 meses estudiando la lengua, entonces estaban en un nivel A1, dirección A2. En sus testimonios y grabaciones que hemos escuchado a posteriori decían nos faltaba vocabulario y nos faltaban expresiones auténticas, espontáneas para reaccionar. Y también eso ha sido aprendizaje para mí como profesora. O sea, ¿cómo puedo reforzarles en situaciones auténticas que no me ofrece un libro?
Eso es así. Más testimonios. Hemos aprendido mucho sobre las fiestas del País Vasco, fundamental, eso es fundamental. Y cómo hablar también de forma espontánea, porque es que somos muy pesados los profes en clase. Venga con la gramática y el present simple y el continuous. ¿Y dónde está la espontaneidad? Que luego nos vamos a Inglaterra o a cualquier país anglosajón y no sabemos pedir el pan, ¿no? Espontáneo. Qué bonito, ¿no? Qué bonita la palabra. Es muy divertido e interesante comunicarse con otra gente, es authentic, auténtico y muy diferente a aprender gramática. Es divertido aplicar lo que aprendes en clase. Authentic, spontaneous, apply. So going beyond the walls, the limits of the classroom and applying what we have learned. That is what makes learning and teaching processes meaningful.
Y esta nos gusta especialmente, una cita también de uno de los alumnos que dijo, hablar con alguien es la mejor forma de aprender una lengua. Al hablar, escuchad esta última parte, lo que dices tiene más sentido.
What you're saying makes more sense, making sense.
O sea, el para qué aprendo, para qué.
Y estos son diferentes testimonios de los alumnos, pero ¿y nosotras? Aquí estamos. Empezamos virtualmente y después nos conocimos. Maite estaba de vacaciones y decidió hacer un pequeño stop para conocer las fiestas del País Vasco, que son fundamentales, como os he dicho. Y vino en julio a conocernos, a conocerme, y nos sacamos esta foto. Igual que las millones de fotos que nos hemos sacado esta semana, pues parece que llevamos una semana, ¿no? Estos 2 días con vosotros, con todos los compañeros, porque realmente eLife hace que tejamos relaciones, ¿no? Hace que podamos tener diferentes relaciones duraderas, europeas y cada vez más. Y cada vez la mariposa vuela más alto y más lejos. Ups, perdón.
Sensaciones. De eso se trataba nuestra presentación y acabamos con una última cita, esta. También hemos tenido que hacer investigación para aprender sobre la vida de la mariposa.
Es fundamental.
Las mariposas son símbolo de perseverancia y resiliencia, puesto que recorren un largo camino hasta alcanzar su meta. Y resume el porqué de esa metáfora, esta frase, esa meta que hemos alcanzado no solo las profesoras, sino también nuestros coordinadores que han trabajado duro y nos han apoyado siempre, gracias. Y también los alumnos, por supuesto, los grandes héroes de esta historia, porque también ellos han roto con todas esas barreras y han conseguido alcanzar su meta. Entonces,
empezábamos la presentación diciendo, érase una vez, y como todo cuento, debería ser, y colorín colorado, ¿no? Este cuento se ha acabado, pero preferimos decir que... ¿Qué preferimos decir? Continuará. Muchas gracias.
Thanks very much to all of the presenters who presented on secondary education. I think there are lots of parallels with primary education. I could see in the face-to-face audience that there were teachers saying, oh yeah, that task, maybe we could adapt it. And I know they're primary school teachers. And also, I thought it was interesting online that there were also teachers who were saying, oh yeah, look, that's a colleague who's working in Spanish. And we know our French colleague because she was working in a French lingua franca exchange as well. In the second part of today's afternoon session, we're therefore looking at primary education, and this is something that was really central to the eLife project. Many of you know that virtual exchange has been quite popular in university education. Then there have been projects that have involved secondary education, but a lot of people still think primary schools, really? We're going to get them to communicate, but their level's so low, like how are we going to do this? Can we really get them using the tools? And the answer is yes, yes, and yes. And today we have two really enthusiastic presentations from great teachers who have been putting so much energy into working with younger learners. So first of all, we're going to hear from Manuel, who's been looking at some of the challenges, but more importantly, how to overcome them and get these young learners on board. And then we're going to hear from Aude and Concha, who've been working in English as a lingua franca. Again, two really enthusiastic teachers who want young learners to be in the center of learning. So thanks so much. Welcome, Manuel. Let's get your slides up.
Okay, thanks, Karel, for the introduction. And continuing on what you were saying, well, first of all, I'm going to introduce ourselves. I think you can know that he is Manuel and I'm Begoña.
It's because of the hair.
Yeah, it's only because of the hair. So it is true that primary education is a big challenge, and that's why we call it a challenge worth taking on, because we believe that things that are easy are not that attractive, are they? So we prefer to work with challenges. And apart from the challenge being that primary education is quite difficult, we had other problems that you will see. Well, no problems. We don't like the word problem, right, Kristi? We had other challenges, and we will show them today. We will start with a brief introduction, telling you a little bit about both of us. Then we'll present the schools where this exchange took place. We'll let you know about the team. We've talked about coordination, we've talked about teachers, so we will let you know a little bit about our particular team for this exchange. We'll tell you a little bit about our story, how it developed, and hopefully it will continue in the future, right?
For sure.
For sure. And give you some examples of activities and some reflections that we hope will be something that might help you in the future or at the present time, and the next steps in our partnership. So about us, do you want to start, Manuel?
Well, I first met this project through Aude, which is in the audience as well. I was working with her through eTwinning, and she told to me about this very new project that was going to take place in the following year. And then I contact with Begoña. I tell the people at my school that if we could be part of this project, and they say yes, and Begoña told me that we were going to be in touch and we were going to talk sooner. So from 2 years now, I think, we started talking, and we found out that we can work together, even though it was a project that was working only with secondary education. But as I think you all have seen today, it's actually the same thing. I found so much similarities between what we do in primary education and what you do in secondary education as well. So I want to thank Begoña and Barry, who has been there for me all the time during this past year, and solving our doubts and giving us a lot of formation for me, my colleagues at the school, and everyone who wants to get involved in this project. So thank you.
And I am Begoña. I was their coach together with Barry Pennock, who's also in the audience. And we must not forget about Oscar, who is the other teacher that couldn't make it here today, but he's a teacher in London, and we will talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk later.
So these are the two schools, right?
My school is our school is a Catholic school in the south of Extremadura, in Badajoz. It's actually an integration school. We have children from very different social and economic situations, so they really haven't got the access to the tools or the items they need to work from home. So with these kind of activities, we are providing them with tools for communicating English, to use this language as something for a real communication. So it is really nice, and it's an opportunity that they cannot have if we are not working in projects like this. That's why we have been working for several years with the eTwinning platform, and that's why we want to be a part of the Erasmus Plus this year as well. So with this very project, we allow our students to meet new friends and realize that they can use that language as something really meaningful for them.
And the other school still is St. Joseph's School, Camberwell Catholic School Federation, a very long name for a school, in the UK. And this school participated in TECOLA in the previous project, so they were already involved in this before. They knew about it, the students knew what this was, and so did the teacher. But the important thing about this school is it is in a very deprived area in London. Some of those students, the only meal they have is the meal they have, every day is the meal they have at school. Traveling to another country is just out of the picture for them. So getting them in contact with another school where they could talk about anything they wanted to talk. They could learn about the culture, they will learn about the language, because the language is not so important for them. Some of them don't even know that there are different languages, and in London, they already spoke several languages because they came from a lot of different countries, but getting to see that what they were learning in class could be used to ask questions and answer questions, because in this case we must say that most of the communication was asking questions and saying yes, no, and football, what's your favorite food? Pasta. With primary education, you cannot really,
go further now.
Go, exactly. But I think we did.
We will try. It was great.
Exactly. So this is the team. We have already talked about some of the members already. This is the very nice photo that Manuel sent us.
Yeah. The best one.
The best one, of course. Then we have Oscar. As we said before, Barry and I were the coaches from the University of Valencia. This was tandem because they practiced both their English and their Spanish. But we need to say that the students are at the center. And we were looking for what they needed, what they wanted, what they liked, and they were always at the center of our effort. And we believe we are quite a super team, right? So, you want to start with the story of exchange?
Well, when we first met through Big Blue Bottom, we started talking with Begoña and Barry, and they introduced me to Barry, who had worked with them before. And we think that we can make something together. But I wasn't working with these students of the same age as Oscar at the point, so I decided to go to another class to find to talk to one of my colleagues, and I asked them if I could use, if I can say use, their students, and they say yes. So we started to work together. They proposed me a series of activities that I have some ideas, but they have worked together before, so it was easier for them to communicate. So I just followed the lead for a bit, but now I'm an expert and I can do it next year. And we perform these activities, and we start to work with the children after we worked together before.
And these are the channels of communication that we had, because we believe it is very, very important to be in continuous, contact with the teachers and with the coaches. And sometimes we had face-to-face meetings, and I'll show you some photos, because we did go to London and met with Oscar face-to-face. I just met him face-to-face last night, but we've been in touch,
We talk almost every week, so.
Every week. And we found some teachers don't like WhatsApp for these kind of exchanges, but we thought it was quite immediate, and we use it a lot.
Yeah.
So all of those are the channels of communication.
She loved the audios.
Yeah. And so this is one of the examples of a face-to-face meeting. We went to London, and this is a school in London. Well, this was actually the second time we traveled to London to go to the school. And we had the opportunity we had already met Oscar before, but we met the students, and that's a very important thing. And we told them about the project. This was in January. So we told them what we were going to be doing with them, and show them the virtual reality platform. I also have a photo of that afterwards. And getting there and telling them about that was something that we really enjoyed doing. And because they were very, very excited about the idea. And we couldn't go to Badajoz, which is closer to Valencia than London, but for some reason we went to London.
But they told us what they were doing, and I was really jealous. But
yeah.
I told my students as well that they felt like it was a beautiful thing to do, and they were really excited about that, to meet new people, like I said before, to talk to them and to learn about their culture. And the story started like this. It was great.
So we believe that it is very important for someone who's embarking on this type of exchanges, that they think about the context and think about what they want their students to achieve, what are the limitations. It's also very important to know what the limitations are, because if you get to be too ambitious, then it might end up wrong. So the importance of the context, and they were very different schools, so we tried to match their differences and make them work. So that was something we tried to do. Regarding resources and technology, they were very different, and the students had different approaches to this. But as we said before, we believe that these are challenges that will make us come up with good ideas and with solutions. And we focused on the positive aspects and not the negative aspects, right? And you're going to let them know about the activities in the exchange, right?
Well, as we talked before, and as all of you have said to us before, the activities are mostly the same we can do, because we are so limited by the time, by the schedules, and by the technology as well. So we started like old school exchanges. We started like with the letters and introducing themselves, telling each other about themselves a bit. What do you like? What's your favorite sport? What do you do at your school? And then we sent a Christmas card. There were a strike in London back in that day, so we have to work on their patience as well, because we have to wait. Christmas cards came a little bit late after Christmas, but it was great. It's
not only Wi-Fi.
The Wi-Fi from the past era. And but it was really interesting for them, because they are not used to write letters anymore. They are used to the immediate things all the time. So it was like a new experience for them. They were smaller than in secondary education, and it's something interesting for them. For me, actually, it was really good. I have a lot of correction to do, but it was great.
And we learned, and the students learned why they call this
snail mail, yeah. Well, then we moved to the Big Blue Button video conferences, and that was really interesting. It is quite limited as well. You only can do it, it was 15 students each class, and the only thing we can do is one student come to the front, go to the computer and talk to the other, and it's just questions and answers. It is quite limited, but it is really interesting for them because they lose this fear of communicating in another language. As somebody said this morning, they are understanding that the person in front of them is actually as good or as bad in the language as they are. So this gave them really confidence. So it's really, really nice.
And just taking a look at their faces,
yeah.
You can see how excited they were. I mean, this is just a screenshot of the video,
yeah.
But if you saw the video, I mean, they were just, jumping on the chairs. Yeah. So that's not something you get in a normal class.
It was really, really nice.
And
this
is another photo, and this is the other school, because that was the school in London, and this is the one in Badajoz.
We have two problems with the technology. We only have a limited amount of computers, so we cannot work one-on-one as you, for example, did, but it's great. We can, they were all gathered together around the person who was talking, and it was actually even better because they are listening to the questions the other people are doing, so it's great. And they are really paying attention. I was really surprised because they are really quiet. Moved, but it was really fun. The problem is actually that they are only, we have like a few time this schedule because I have to take them from the other classes, but we managed to do it, and it was.
And they had their script, and that was very good because they needed some scaffolding. They are in primary education, so they had a script, and they could turn to the script if they needed to. But they were all paying attention to what the classmates were saying, and that was very nice.
And many of them didn't even use it. They just
true. They had it there, but they didn't read.
Hard, but they actually have it because only to be sure. But it was great. That's me. I was happy as well, but they were really enjoying this situation, and I think us as a teachers should show them that we are enjoying this as well. Yeah. Because if we don't, they are not going to like it like
exactly.
us. It's the same. They see that I was so excited because we are going to talk to other people from other countries. You are going to love it, and you can transmit that to them, and it's great. And we try another activity using Padlet, but as you may see if you have worked with children, even it doesn't matter the age, not every activity you have tried to perform is going to work out. So this one was not, it didn't come out as we expected, as Begoña is going to tell you later, but we try. I'm going to try it again because, the students are going to be different students, and maybe they like it.
Maybe they will like it, yeah.
It's just different persons, so we will try again. And if the second one it doesn't work, then we move to another one.
So we want them to work in the virtual world. That's the only thing we couldn't do in this short exchange, but we did show the students in London what the virtual world looked like. And they were so excited. I mean, they went into one of the kiosks in the Spanish area in Villa Tarla, and they went around, they walked, and they had to take turns to go there, and they were like queuing, and I want to be the next one, I want to try now. And, that was very, very exciting. And for some of them, that might be the only experience with virtual reality they are going to have, and they don't have computers at home, their technology is very limited. So it was, very, very exciting for them. And their teacher, Oscar, is waiting for us to create the right task so that we can continue working on the virtual world. Now, we have good and bad things about this.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be the good cop and I'm going to be the bad cop.
Okay. Now, as my personal experience, I've been working with children in primary education and with exchanges for a bit now. As I told you before, with the twinning. It is something really, really interesting for the children. It's something for most of them, like you said, that is going to be the only opportunity they have to talk to another person in another language. So it's really great. And regarding the language, you are giving them a reason to learn this language. Usually, as we all said before, it's just the books, it's the audios, but it's nothing real. It's nothing for them to really want to learn the language in a proper way. After these kind of activities, these kind of projects, you see them asking you for more because they want to use this language, and they say, okay, now I'm able to talk to people to another place in another place, and it is actually great. It's the real communication, actually, which is the best thing that we can extract from these projects.
And we don't like to talk about negative things, their challenges again, but we think that sometimes coordination and getting to know what their students and their teacher needs and what you need was sometimes complex, not difficult, but complex. And like this thing with Padlet, we thought that it was going to be something that they would like, because everyone has liked Padlet in all of the other exchanges. But then Oscar told us that he and his students didn't like Padlet. They said, no, they tried it and they didn't like it at all. So we thought, well, that's something that was unexpected, but we're going to go back to letters as the introduction for the next exchange, and they're going to tell each other about what they did in summer, and that way we will compensate for that. Our conclusion from this is that you have to be flexible and you have to be creative, and with that you will get a very good exchange, successful exchange.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I'm going to thank you and Barry for being there for us. I'm not going to continue with this group of students because they are going now to secondary education, and I have to stay in primary education. And this schedule there is really complicated. I'm not going to make it, but I'm sure I'm leaving this group with one of my pals from secondary education in our school, so it's going to be great. Thank you, and thank you for having me in here.
Thank
you. It's a
you.
pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, so can I start? Hello.
Hello. So we are going to present you our project for last year, but we've been working together for 3 years now, and each year are new projects, and we have new ideas after this. So it's great. So you can.
Yeah.
Go. I'm Aude Duvivier, French name, and I'm in a school called Les Volcans, which means volcanoes, because I'm near Clermont-Ferrand, New has the place for volcanoes, and I'm in a school in a rural environment. And I teach in cycle 2, so pupils are between 7, 8 years old, and they are learning English for maximum 2 years. So at the beginning.
Yeah, sorry. Hello, I'm Concha González from Santo Ángel School in Badajoz, here in Spain. I've been working as a teacher for 11 years, and I've been doing virtual exchange for around 9 years. But what I realized with eLife is the support that all the professionals, people that work in the project, is giving us. Like anything we need, they're always there for ideas. Everything. Today we discovered more things that we didn't know. So, yeah. Well, that's.
So last year, our students, I had 22 students of 3rd grade of elementary school.
I was in my school where in the 2nd grade in primary school, so they were 6, 7, 8, and I have 25 students. 4 of them were with special needs, so we adapted.
So first of all, we had to build all the project. So each year, in late August, we call, so Concha, what are we doing this year? So we always take the syllabus because that's what we have to teach. And we try to see our students' English skills to see where we can go. And crossing the syllabus and their skills, we define some objectives for the year.
Okay, by the time to organize the project, we need to deal with the different school organization, with the holidays and with the timetables, because it's different, like a puzzle. Then we need to choose activities and the tasks that motivate our students. And finally, planning the teachers and students meeting so we can fit it in our schedule during the whole year.
So last year we had 3 big projects. Yeah. First of all, always, like in secondary school, we have to know each other. And then we wanted to work around school supplies. So we planned a game, which was Guess My Object. And the third and big project was creation of a collaborative book.
Well, our first task were let's know each other, the introduction, and we have organized each activity with the linguistic and communication skills, the class work before the meetings, and the final task. So what we work in this activity was vocabulary of numbers, colors, food, family, introduction, questions, and they have a worksheet that they have to fill it up. And then we take a picture of every kid, and we make a file, and we send it to each other. We present it to our kids, so they could know the other students before the real meeting. And well, in the class they work with they just work with a card, and we play interaction games. In the final task, the students were they have a paper with the names of the other country, and students were introducing themselves in the video call 2 by 2. And they were saying, hello, my name is Maria, I'm 7, my favorite color is yellow. So they were filling it up with this. So all the class need to be paying attention of what we were doing. And we have a video.
The problem is the same as Manuel. In our class, we do not have 20
computers for everyone.
Computers, and even if we had, they are too small and they can cope with the computers. So we had to find a way to keep their attention even if they are not in front of the camera. So there is always a task for the one who listens.
Yeah. We're going to show you a video. Let's see.
Everyone? Yes, very good, Margot. Very good. Look at Margot. Yes, very good.
Very supportive.
Hello, my name is Chloe. I'm 8. My favorite color is pink.
And they have to.
It's pink.
Yeah,
you can see.
Unfortunately.
Daniela. I am 3. My friend favorite color is pink. My name is
The kid there is really, really shy, really. But
Now we have 10 minutes left.
The time.
I now pronounce you husband and wife. We're husband and wife, then we should kiss.
Okay. I'm going again. No, this one.
Okay.
Again. Here. Okay.
So the second project was Guess My Object. So the linguistics and communication skills were, of course, the vocabulary of school supplies, which is in the curriculum. The question and answer, is it a? And it's, yes it is, no it isn't. And before the meeting, of course, we discovered the game. We play by little group so that they know the game when we meet with the Spanish class. And the final game, the final task was to play the game with the e-pals.
And we're going to show you.
Once more, there was a sheet, everyone has it, and when the object was guessed, they had to draw it.
Yes, it is. Very good.
Okay, you want to start with? It's a pen?
No, it isn't.
No, it isn't.
No, it isn't. Is it rubber? Is it green? Yes, it is. Is a purple pencil?
Purple pencil? Yes, it is.
At 1 point.
Okay, I hope it's not
So
going
of course, they are very simple games.
Another. Okay, this is our masterpiece. Okay, this was the final task, the monster book. We work in here the parts of the face, the colors, the numbers, big, small, long, short, the structure. She has got two big yellow heads, and so it was a bit more complicated, but they were very motivated. So they did. Also the questions, has he or she got? Then in the class, we play with games, interaction games, and to practice the structures, vocabulary, and drawing the monsters.
Vote.
Yeah,
very
the
democratic.
Vote. Yeah.
Because we couldn't do 47 monsters, so some they were by groups, and first they decide the characteristics of the monster. So he will have 2 red faces and everything. Okay, and then they each draw a monster with these characteristics. So there were 4 monsters, and then there were collective vote to choose the monster and the names.
Yes.
Some are quite bizarre.
Each monster have a name too. So, okay, we are gonna show you a video too, how they did. And at the end, we create a monster. Sorry.
4 small green ears.
Here is with the story jumper. They were creating their own book. They have have to write it as well. With the kids with the special needs, instead we groups of 2 in pairs, we add another one and they were working 3, so they could take part. This is for the Erasmus. Okay, too late. All right. Here. Okay. This is our book.
That's the video of the book.
Oh.
Maybe you can
here, right?
click on it.
Yeah.
See the French and the Spanish
proposition. Caslopet.
It means nothing in French.
Angela or Angela? La Dormilona.
The structures is always the same because they had a frame to write the text.
La Dormilona with 6 big open eyes.
You can maybe pass.
Yeah, well, Bill and well, like every project need to have an evaluation. So we evaluate in 3 levels: parents, teachers, and students. First, we sent a questionnaire to parents, then we did too, and to our students. Well, I'm not gonna stop in here, but we have some testimony from some parents that we want you.
Buenos días, soy Ángel, la mamá de una alumna del segundo de primaria el año pasado, este año ya en tercero de primaria, la cual participó el año pasado en uno de los proyectos que tiene el colegio de eTwinning. Estos proyectos los valoramos muy positivamente todos los padres porque es una oportunidad que tienen nuestros hijos de vivir conociendo otras culturas y creando lazos de unión con otros niños de otros países, niños de la misma edad. Luego, para el aprendizaje del inglés es una experiencia estupenda, la familia lo valoramos positivamente, ya que practican las distintas destrezas del idioma. Lo que han trabajado durante la semana lo exponen allí, incluso a veces ha llegado a ser el producto final del trabajo del aula. Luego agradecemos infinito al equipo directivo y al equipo docente que se implican en estos proyectos porque es muy motivador para los alumnos y además para ellos el equipo docente es un trabajo extra y lo agradecemos, y lo valoramos súper positivamente. Estos proyectos además que favorecen el aprendizaje social, cultural y académico de nuestros hijos y es una ventana hacia el mundo que les rodea, una experiencia fantástica para todos ellos. Y poco más, nosotros estamos encantados de que nuestros hijos participen y esperemos que sigan implicándose el equipo docente en este tipo de proyectos.
En tant que parents, nous allons
Okay. So we are we are running out of time, right? Okay, so we are gonna you are gonna put this somewhere, right? So you can check it after. Okay, these are students also, and okay, thank you. Yep, okay.
Yes, yeah, we're on. Okay, so now it's time for our Q&A round, basically. So if there are any questions for any of our speakers, this is the time. I'll also pick up the Mentimeter again if you want to do it in writing instead of out loud. Let's see where it is, over here. So this code still works. Also for the online people, if you have any questions, please ask them in the Mentimeter. But for now, are there any questions, live questions for any of the speakers that we had? Or any other questions at all about eLive? I mean, you can ask anything. I'm not giving out my PIN code, by the way, but you can ask anything. So, no? Oh, there's a question there. Yes, on my way.
It's just a comment. I was just bowled over with how creative all of the teachers have been that have described their tasks and what they've done. So thank you so much. I've been like, oh, I train teachers and I'm just like, wow, these teachers are amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm very curious, and a question to all of the teachers actually, how do you talk about your projects in school, and how do you motivate possible colleagues to participate as well with their classes and with their students? I don't know whether any of the teachers wants to say a bit more about that, because it's always nice to not just keep it in your classroom, but find more people to work with and, well, share.
So anyone want to answer that question? Yes.
Okay, it's really complicated, like I said before, because of this schedule, because everyone has so much to do. We all understand that, Begoña understand that, and our headmaster understand that. But then you find people like Concha and they are so willing to work with that. They are so motivated that they can transmit that to the children, and this is amazing. You find people like us, all of us in here, that are really willing to achieve this goal, which bring the second language to the students, and that's it. We wish there were more, but sometimes it's impossible, but it's great.
I think the point is to tell our colleagues that it's not so complicated, and just give them some first really simple things, just to enter the thing. And after, when they see the benefit for them, because for the teacher it's really nice to have this project with the class, when they enter the thing, they want to go further. So I think the tip is to try and begin with simple things and then go up.
Well, in my opinion, I think that you need to fall in love with the project and with these kind of things, because otherwise, I mean, it's a lot of work. We always have many things to do, but if you fall in love and you see the result, you see your students so motivated, happy, and that they are learning a lot. My student, the one they were talking, they are in second grade, and you know they could communicate. So I think that's you need to sell it.
Yeah, but how do you sell it? What do you say to your colleagues to sell it? That's the question, I think. Yeah.
Well, I think showing what we're doing, I think that's the best thing. And then, I don't know, like support them and, and help them in anything. But I think that if they don't want to, sometimes it's very complicated to, but yeah, we're on our way,
You have to talk about cultural competence. My school, we have an Erasmus program, so it's just we're on Erasmus, so it's good to do something like that. So taking there by that way also.
Okay. I think that's clear, right? Okay. Any other questions so far, or perhaps from the online community in the back, Mr. Pennock? Is there any questions over there on the YouTube? No? Okay. So we do have a few questions on the Mentimeter that we didn't discuss yet. So perhaps this is a good time to then get to that. And what I saw is that a lot of them are to do with the virtual world. So those are questions that I could perhaps ask Nick to answer. Because there's a question here that might be interesting. If you are able to sit down with them online to show them instead of a video, and are you part of the November workshops, is one of the questions. Yes, you. Yes. Our tech wizards, are you part of our November workshops? Or are you willing to sit down with people instead of record a video, but do a live kind of video?
Yes. Yes. Yes, I think so. And we had already had some discussion about that with several people. And most of the people say, okay, maybe we step in too high, and maybe we should first have some basic training in what's frame and how can we start with frame. I already did something like that at the end of this last year, but maybe that's not good enough. Maybe we should do that again because there's a new audience, and we can do extra trainings for people that really want to start with the virtual worlds and frame VR. So we start from zero, and then we build it up very slowly according your needs and your speed. Is that okay? I think that's going to be some of the how-to in November or December, or yeah.
Okay, and whenever. And I saw one that I thought was very interesting. Can I start exploring without immediately joining with the class, so I learn first and I'm secure in how to do things? What are moments to start? Kristi is nodding yes, very enthusiastically. Would you like to elaborate, please?
Yeah. Well, if this is related to the Frame VR, I just show, if you go to the resources page, then you can see where the virtual world is, and you can just click on the city, Blauderstein for German, or Châteautel, or Parler for France, Villa Charla for Spanish, and then you are there. And then you can go there yourself, but also with your students, and you can explore. This is open for everybody, yeah? Be aware that it is now open for everybody. So anybody can join you.
Yeah, and it's also for the tasks, right? So you can also click on the website. Bart just pulled up the website to share the virtual world, so you can join with a guest account. You don't need to log on or anything. You just join as a guest and walk around, click on things, do whatever. But also a resource. We also have the tasks that are open for everyone, so you can have a look at them already and see what they are. And also the teacher education modules are good to get some experience before you actually join in, and so that you have more idea of what you can do and could do. So I think those were the most inspiring questions. I don't know if there's any left.
Someone was asking about how to register for the workshops. Maybe we can...
Yeah, okay, so there's going to be some workshops, and the question was how to register for that. So can you? Oh, sorry. I was in the dark. I do that sometimes. I was in the dark. But what about the registering? Is it already possible to do that?
Okay, so if you are a member of the eLife project, then you will get information about that, yeah? You will get emails about that.
if you're not a member of the virtual exchange, then follow us in our socials, because there we always advertise these events, these workshops and webinars, everything we do. Okay, so that's the two ways to do that. So now you can see the Join Us page on the website, so you can become a partner institution. Click here, and now we will get in contact with you, as I said before. If you already know that you want to participate with your students in the virtual exchanges, then you have a form also you can fill in. And if you just want to be informed about the activities we organize, and you have the third point. Okay, so I think it answers the question.
Yeah, so if you want to register for the workshops, I can just subscribe to the newsletter and I'll get a message saying, you can just subscribe now. Okay, so perfect. I think that answers that question then. Well, thank you very much. Please,
you're welcome.
So I think that brings us to not the last part, but the formal part of this evening, and Cara's already coming here, so have a seat.
Thank you. And so I have the pleasure of leading the concluding session. What I'd like you to do is I'd like the people online, if you could perhaps just type into the text chat the keywords that you're thinking about that have come out of today's sessions. People in the room, can you turn to your nearest partner, nearest teacher next to you, nearest colleague, doesn't matter what language we're speaking in. Can you perhaps just share 2 or 3 things that were key for you today, or that you remembered, or a moment you liked, and then I'll share with you what I thought mine were. It's okay, because I know what I'm going to do, so don't worry. Okay, gracias, thank you, merci. Maybe we can come back. So, the first thing that I'd like is if the people online could add a smiley face to the text chat, if any of the keywords that you put into the text chat match the keywords that I'm showing you now, and perhaps if people in the room, do you want to raise your hands? How many of the keywords or things that you talked about overlap with what's on the projected board? Yeah? So Marlene's just going to pass the microphone around, and what I'd like is, if it's possible, just to have one keyword. Just anybody wants to share one keyword.
Are you up for it?
We thought it was motivating for students and different and fun.
Thank you. So motivating, different, and fun.
We think that it is very enthusiastic for the teachers, and they really they see a very great outcome of this. So that is the reason why do they want to continue.
One key word, one word.
Inspiration.
Another inspirational, okay.
Motivation.
Motivation, okay.
I like friends because we have more things in common than differences.
You had a nice discussion. Creativity, that's something that we were saying.
Creativity, okay, that's nice. Connection. Barry? Yes. Yeah, I'll come to you. I'm coming.
Okay, well, we have from Busy Bella or Busy Bella, language creation. Maike Soyema, I think it is, exciting inclusion. Maria Sanchez, easiness of communication. And finally, Beatriz Lopez, she's got more than one. Authentic communication, intercultural competence, real life situation. So there you are. Right.
So thanks very much.
Thank you. We have one more group in the back here, sorry. No. Or they thought I might forget them, but I'm not. So, did you have any keywords that you came up with?
Probably enthusiasm, and I would say effort at the same time. So
yeah, so enthusiasm and effort. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
So I think there's a lot of overlap. When I was listening today, the things that I kept hearing were active language learners. Active language learners, the students were involved. I think we talked quite a lot about creating language, the fact that there was less question answers, but there's creativity, both in terms of contributions, but language use. Several people talked about and this was a quote, letting the students go free, which I think is something that's quite important in our school systems. Empowering, I heard a lot, both from a student learner point of view, but also a teacher point of view. Friends came up. One of the presentations was talking about how the students keep texting each other after the exchange. And several times I heard this is just this unique experience, and I don't speak Spanish, but I'm guessing that auténtico is, this is authentic interaction. What I thought was really interesting is the number of times that I heard that, like, this project is different. This project is different. And I think really what the ambition of the eLife project is for us no longer to be saying this project's different, but just to be a mainstream part of language education and intercultural education within our school systems. Because if such virtual exchange projects are getting the learners to be creative, active, empowered, create relationships, have authentic communication, then why aren't we doing this all the time? So yeah, I guess my message here is, like, let's not have this as an add-on, but have this as an added value within our curriculum. Just to finish, a couple of pieces of information. The first is that the live streams from the morning session and this afternoon session, as soon as we finish today, will be on our website. So if you want to go back, if you want to share them with colleagues, if you want to listen again, feel free to do so. They'll be up in the next 10 minutes. The morning session's already there and the afternoon session will be up. Save the date of the 10th of April 2024 because I have the pleasure of organising with the whole team another Multiplier event that will be both online and face-to-face in Clermont-Ferrand in France. We will be putting this information up on the website as well, but if you're interested, get it into your diaries now because we would love to see many of you there and hear about more engaging experiences. Perhaps if there are people with us today who are interested in joining eLive, then come and share your experiences with us here. We would really look forward to it. And finally, I just want to finish by saying thank you to the students who've been involved in these exchanges. Thank you to the teachers who have been involved in putting them into place. Thank you to the online participants and the face-to-face participants who are not yet involved but who came along today to find out more. Thanks to the technicians at the back of the room who've been doing a great job live streaming all of this. And in general, thanks to the eLive family. Thanks for allowing us to come together today and share these experiences. That's it from us. We look forward to seeing you soon.
And if anyone wants another black licorice or stroopwafel, I still have a few left. So you're up for a treat if you want. Thank you.